energy bills are rising at a historic rate, and there's no end in sight. Talk to enough people and you'll soon realize nearly everyone's shocked at their recent electricity bills. Some studies reveal energy costs have skyrocketed by as high as 60% in as little as 2 years. That's why tens of thousands are installing this magical little device from SavePowerBills.com to help slash their energy bills. This sophisticated gadget stabilizes electrical currents, reduces dirty electricity, and helps protect your appliances and electronics. Simply plug it into your home's wall outlet to help lower energy consumption and ultimately help reduce your power bills every month. Countless 5-star reviews back up the notion that this device is one of the most efficient ways to save money while beating the greedy power companies. But there's more. If you order now, you'll also receive 65% off, fast shipping within the USA, hassle-free returns, and last but not least, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee. Just go to SavePowerBills.com to take advantage of this limited time deal before they sell out. Once again, that's SavePowerBills.com.
A charity director from Westwood has been arrested after federal authorities say he stole millions slated to help the homeless.
They say he lined his pockets instead.
So there's been a lot of talk as of late about Somali fraud. Everybody knows by now that Nick Shirley dropped a video talking about all these different various childcare centers that appear to not be legitimate businesses, not to mention the fact that we've had multiple indictments that demonstrate to us time and time again that the Somalis in Minnesota are not only committing fraud, but the state of Minnesota is not doing anything to stop them. Almost all the indictments are federal indictments. Almost all the investigations are initiated by the government, and politicians like Tim Walz, Keith Ellison, and Ilhan Omar not only seem to be ignoring it, but they actually seem to be in on it in some regards, and that has created a need for national attention. But make no mistake about it, Tim Walz and Minnesota, small potatoes compared to what's going on in the state of California, because while they don't have Somalis looting the treasury like they do in Minnesota, make no mistake about it, their different various government programs are rife with fraud, rife with abuse, and a perfect example of it is this nonprofit, which of course works in the homeless sector, where a guy who headed it up managed to steal almost half the money that was given to him, and that's what we know about so far, and didn't provide services to the homeless people, over 600 of them that he was supposed to be caring for, and he ended up getting away with this for 6 years. And the only reason, by the way, that this investigation was launched against him, the only reason that charges were brought was because of a federal homeless task force that is looking at the spending in all these different various organizations. So this is what we're going to talk about today. A man who had no chill at all whatsoever, who not only stole but spent it on such obvious luxuries that it should have been a red flag to everybody involved, and how the state of California did absolutely nothing to stop him until the feds got involved, and now all the homeless people that were supposedly being helped by this person are left out in the cold. The metaphorical cold, because Southern California is quite warm, but you get what I mean. Now, we're going to get into this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
He's accused of living the high life to the tune of $23 million instead of using public and taxpayer funds to help the homeless. That's according to federal and local officials who this morning arrested 42-year-old Alexander Soofer of Westwood at his multi-million-dollar home.
So it's important for you guys to understand that the actual amount of money that is alleged to have gone to this individual, who, by the way, his name is Alexander Soofer, aka Suffer, aka he wants homeless people to suffer, obviously should have been a red flag, is about $23 million. And while that might sound like a lot of money, and I'm sure it was a lot of money to Alexander, who is alleged to have spent this money on a bunch of different various goods, you really need to understand that in the context of California and homelessness fraud and money that is not accountable, that is actually small potatoes. It's less than 1/10 of 1% of the $24 billion that has gone missing over the very period of time that Soofer's operation was in effect.
He lied to investigators when confronted. He provided fake invoices to make it appear that the payments to third vendors were legitimate. They were not.
Now, while Soofer is small potatoes compared to that, the fact is this guy was spending ungodly amounts of money on his own personal luxuries, and despite the fact that he was nowhere near providing the goods and services to homeless people that his organization was explicitly compelled to by law to provide, he was able to get away with it, again, until a federal task force ending up investigating homeless fraud in the state of California came into fruition and started looking into all these different various nonprofits that get taxpayer money or money from other nonprofits that also get taxpayer money, which, by the way, in this particular case, this is exactly what happened.
Soofer is the executive director of the charity Abundant Blessings and was given tens of millions of dollars in funds between 2018 and 2025 to feed and house roughly 600 individuals across the greater LA area. That meant providing 3 nutritious meals a day. Instead, the Assistant U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley alleges Soofer gave them this microwavable ramen.
This is what he was providing. Ramen noodles and a microwave. And he was pocketing the rest of the money. The money was not intended for ramen noodles to be microwaved and fed to the homeless. He was supposed to provide nutritious meals.
Whoa. Listen up. Look, I support the U.S. Attorney and his investigation right here. I support uncovering the fraud that is plaguing the state of California, but we're not throwing shade at ramen noodles. Not in this house, buddy. Ramen noodles is incredibly delicious. In fact, the 6th Hokage lived almost exclusively off of ramen noodles before ascending to that position, and he is arguably the greatest Hokage. So what you need to do is shut the hell up, because at least he provided a microwave for these homeless people, although according to these images as seen right here, he was not actually cleaning said microwave. Now obviously I'm just kidding, because that is not the good stuff. That looks like Top Ramen, which is absolute trash. There are way better brands like this one right here, the Indomie brand, which is like an Indonesian stir-fry kind of noodle ramen where you drain the water and then you mix the stuff in there. This absolute money, absolutely delicious. This is the original flavor. Also the barbecue chicken, 10 out of 10, first class all the way. That would have been acceptable. I would have given him a pardon if he was getting the homeless people that, because honestly, that's almost too good for them, even though it's extraordinarily cheap. But in this particular case, it's Top Ramen, obviously trash, and obviously not what the money was intended for, because he was supposed to give these people.
Energy bills are rising at a historic rate, and there's no end in sight. That's why tens of thousands are using this amazing little device from SavePowerBills.com. It's a small but smart gadget that stabilizes electrical currents, reduces dirty electricity, and helps protect your electronics. Just plug it into your home's wall outlet to help lower energy consumption and ultimately help reduce your power bills every month. Order now to get 65% off plus many free bonuses before they sell out by going to SavePowerBills.com. That's SavePowerBills.com. Order now.
3 squares a day, and these were supposed to be reasonably nutritious levels of meals. And all joking aside, obviously this image is not $23 million well spent.
He pocketed the rest of the money. He probably spent $100 you see in that picture, and he pocketed the rest of the money.
Also, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying the microwave probably was more than $100. I mean, have you ever tried to replace a microwave lately? Obviously very expensive, and with all those ramen noodles, you're probably at least at $127. So, U.S. Attorney, honestly, sit the hell down. And you're in California too. The microwave probably has to meet environmental standards, and yeah, that's probably really expensive.
Investigators provided photos of some of the high-priced items Soofer got for himself and family, including the purchase of a $7 million Westwood home, a $125,000 Range Rover, luxury vacation trips to places like Hawaii and Florida. Other expenses included private school tuition for his kids and a nearly $500,000 vacation home in Greece. Soofer allegedly lied to the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority on how he was directing the money.
This is a case full of lies, deceit, and pilfering money intended on addressing one of the most prolific problems in Los Angeles County.
Now look, obviously this is obscene levels of fraud. The man got $23 million from the taxpayer and from these nonprofits, and yet he managed to spend $7 million plus on his own home, not to mention the property taxes and whatnot. And the crazy thing about this is, like, Los Angeles and California, they ended up putting in a mansion tax, so they should be tracking these homes a little bit better than usual compared to other homes, and yet nobody took any notice of the fact that this man who's running a nonprofit for the homeless decided to buy himself a brand new $7 million home, where again, there were no homeless anywhere to be found, not to mention the private schools. And while they went over his luxury vacations and his $500,000 vacation home in Greece, again, this man is buying himself a luxury $7 million home, then an extra home with money that he's spending while housing the homeless. But what is left out in this local news segment, at least at this moment in time, is was that the way he traveled to these luxury destinations and to his luxury Greek home for vacation. I mean, again, of the $23 million in public money, he actually pocketed $10 million of it, including the $7 million on the house, $125 on the Range Rover, private school tuition for his kids, private jet travel, which is what I'm trying to highlight right here, to and from all these luxury resorts, and of course, he ended up buying that Greek home as well. Again, people, this went on for 6 years. 6 years. 2019 to 2025, California was none the wiser.
There's not just a federal investigation, but one at the local level that District Attorney Nathan Hochman outlined. The DA's office conducted an independent parallel investigation with the U.S. Attorney's Office, with both having overlapping jurisdiction in this case. At the federal level, Soofer is facing wire fraud charges. At the local level, his charges include forgery, where he faces up to 17 years in prison.
Now, we hear in this case that the local prosecutor was actually involved running a parallel investigation, and if you guys will recall, the guy who's actually prosecuting at the LA District Attorney's Office now was somebody who ran as a Republican for Attorney General, I believe back in 2022, did not get that position. I mean, again, where would California be if they actually elected this individual? But then he ran as an independent against Gascon, the not prosecute anyone for anything district attorney, and now that he's taken office, again, about a year in, so basically immediately after he took office, he is prosecuting homeless fraud cases. So elections 100% do matter. Just because you have a crap mayor like Karen Bass, the crap mayor that they had before them, or a crap district attorney like they had before, doesn't mean you can't change it. So now we have a scenario where we have the U.S. attorney and, of course, the local district attorney that's actually interested, and look what they uncover.
Rather than admit that he did something wrong and hand the money back, he doubled down on his crimes, first stating that he actually provided this money. Then he tripled down on his crimes, submitting fake invoices. And when he's confronted by the auditors about the fake invoices, he quadruples down and submits different fake invoices.
Officials say they've investigated 2 other alleged fraud cases regarding funds meant for the homeless that were misused, with these defendants also facing steep charges.
Now look, people, when you have a situation where $24 billion is unaccounted for, where it goes into the black hole of the homeless industrial complex, this is what you can expect. And all the different investigations of the 26 million, the 17 million, and now this 23 million don't add up to, again, even 1% of the money that was stolen in the state of California through the various frauds that have been going on in that state. Again, it's been crazy over there. It's been unmonitored for a long time. So for Gavin Newsom to lecture the Trump administration about investigating things going on in Minnesota when his own house is an absolute mess is shameful and disgusting. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Do you think that Alexander Soofer should have had a little bit more chill? Maybe he could have bought himself a $4 million home instead of a $7 million home? Or do you think he was just maximizing his life riding out on private jets, and his only mistake wasn't quintupling down on his crimes and taking a private jet once he was released without bail to his fantastic Greek estate? Again, all your thoughts down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social media, support me via support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the absolute madness going on in California. Till next time.